like, share, subscribe. HCB2 World.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So listen, if you're here for chapter 323 of Black Clover. And first of all, before I even jump into the review, let me apologize because my background graphic does say chapter 322. That is incorrect. It's chapter 323. It's been a long day. I've been cranking out videos that I haven't uploaded yet, and so sometimes I get a little off, but for that I apologize. Now anyway, in terms of this review, I gotta tell you, this is probably one of my better chapters that I actually really enjoyed. The thing I like about it most is that you kind of get to see a vulnerable side of Noct. Obviously, you know, we found out a long time ago he's the vice captain of the Black Bulls, but in addition to that, you really don't know much about him other than he's very good at Devil Union and he has like 4 or 5 devils. But we kind of got to see a little bit into how he perceives himself, you know. And when you see that he really doesn't have that much value for himself, it actually kind of makes you a little sad, and that's something we got to take a glimpse of this week. But to kick things off, the chapter starts off with Yami, who's still pretty beat up from everything he's gone through in terms of being used to kind of open up that gate, which in turn let a bunch of devils out, including Lucifero. So we get a bit of a flashback, and you see Yami still on the ground, and Vanessa's trying to figure out how to help this dude. She's like, this guy's about to die, you know, there's nothing we can do. Like, I really need to kind of figure out something. Not only that, you know, they make note of the fact that there's something going on with Yami's body that's similar to what Asta kind of undergone when he had a devil in him. And so I don't know if that's maybe like foreshadowing, kind of saying, hey, you know, while Yami was going through all this stuff, devil may have inadvertently slipped itself into his body. I don't know, but I think the fact that they mentioned it means that it's definitely something we need to kind of keep an eye on as things progress. But we see Yami down there and they can't figure out how to heal him, and then out of nowhere the girl Gray comes, and she kind of, I can't tell whose power she used because the way it was kind of drawn up, it looks like it could have either been Mimosa's power or it could have been Charlotte's, but I'm just going to assume it was Mimosa's. So it looks like Gray uses Mimosa's power to kind of heal Yami. And the thing I like about Gray is that she kind of reminds me of Toga a little bit. Now when I say that, obviously the personalities are different, but when you look at the powers that each of them can use, it's kind of almost the same, you know. So Toga from My Hero Academia, she has the power to, one, consume someone's blood, but when she does so, she can transform like Gray. But we also find out she can now use the same powers of the person she transforms into. And so Gray kind of has that aspect as well. But not only that, Gray appears to have used the power without having to transform. So I'm not sure if that's just her having a new power where she can heal people, or if she did borrow power from Mimosa's ability. I don't know. In terms of the chapter itself, as things progress, you kind of now see Yami, he's in present time, and he's blocking the punch that was meant for Asta, not just Asta, but it was meant for Asta and Noct. As Yami blocks that punch, he's knocked backwards, and you kind of see him and Noct fly off, and you're like, oh shit, here we go again. Asta's about to get his ass beat. You know, Asta just kind of recovered. He's not even fully recovered. He just recovered a little bit to kind of get back on his feet and rejoin the fight. But the sword that Yami used to block that punch, we find out that it came from Vengeance. As Vengeance shows up, he looks like he is not long for this world, you know. He still has the cracks in his face. He looks like he's just beat to hell. And he tells Yami that he's pulled every ounce of his power into the sword, into that little kind of wooden, look, it's like a world tree sword that he handed to Yami. He tells him, hey, I poured all of my power into the sword. And instead of being, you know, grateful and showing a little bit of gratitude, Yami's like, bro, I still haven't forgotten that whole thing you did with the elves. So I think it's funny that Yami's still kind of petty like that, but that's one of the things that makes everyone just pretty much love his character. So even though he kind of says that little snide comment, he's like, hey, after this, we should, after this, if we both make it back safe, let's go grab a drink. And he says that, and I'm just like, uh-oh, man, somebody's going to die. So clearly, if you ever followed anime or read manga, you know that's what we consider to be a death flag, right? And so I don't think the death flag was actually for Yami. When I first read it, I thought it was, but as the chapter progressed, it's like, okay, Yami's going to be here for a bit. So that kind of means that it's probably for Vengeance. And judging by the way he looks, you know, it's not shocking. I think everything going on with the Golden Dawn is kind of progressing in a way where it's kind of setting up that someone's going to take over for him. So if Vengeance doesn't make it, it is going to be a little sad, but you know, it is what it is. It's manga, and honestly, Black Clover hasn't had a death at all. It's starting to get a little like fairy tale in the sense that no one has died yet, but it's understandable. I love Black Clover. I feel like it is extremely slept on, and a lot of people just haven't gotten on board like they should. But you know what? The train's still going. You still have time, and with so many good manga getting ready to end, I think you should definitely get you some of this. Now, anyway, as we get back to the review, you know, we kind of find out that in terms of Nock's self-esteem, he just does not kind of value himself. Obviously, we know he had a twin brother named Morgan. He lost that brother, and in his heart, you know, it was his fault. And so he kind of not only tried to do things in his brother's place, but he kind of also distanced Yami. And now you find out that he really, in his eyes, he views Yami as somebody that's irreplaceable. So when Yami took that punch, he's like, dude, please don't do that again. Just like, let me die. I am not someone worth saving, and you were too valuable to let die. And it's just like, man, you know, you don't really this is what I love about character development, because you don't really understand how these guys feel. And Noct, you know, in the eyes of Austin and them, he's like really, really powerful. But you don't understand, like deep down, like this is a dude that's hurt. He doesn't really care what happens to his life. He just kind of wants to basically die and move on. And so he's like, you know, Yami is the guy that cares about everyone. He's the one who cares about the people that no one else seems to really give a damn about, right? The Black Wolves, if you look at every member of the squad, they're just a band of misfits or people who weren't accepted because, hey, this guy is weird, or hey, this guy doesn't have any mana, or hey, this girl can't control her magic. He's the one that embraces everyone. And so, of course, with Noct being the vice captain, the same's going to be with him, right? So he tells them that, he's like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, shut up, you idiot. I don't need a reason to save my friends. And that kind of shocks Noct, because Noct almost assumes that Yami kind of has some kind of, let's say, not a grudge, but he feels some type of way because ultimately Noct got Morgan killed, and Morgan and Yami were pretty close. And he even says, you know, to be honest with you, I'm Morgan's twin, but you understood him a lot better than I did. You guys were a lot closer than he and I were. And so I can't really afford to lose you. And it was just that nice little moment to kind of see that even though Noct doesn't value himself, Yami still does see him as a friend, and he doesn't want him to die. I mean, God, if that's the guy, if Noct is Morgan's brother and Morgan was very important to Yami, you would think that Yami's going to do everything he can to keep Noct alive for Morgan's sake. You know, it's like almost having a brother entrusted to him. But the thing I like at the end is where it shows Noct and Yami side by side, and it kind of shows you like a little bit of a mirroring of Morgan and Yami side by side, and it kind of just a little wink that says, hey, you know, maybe Noct is not as different from his brother as he thinks. And I thought that was a very cool way to end the chapter. In terms of things that come next, I definitely think that we're getting ready to get a death. The first, finally, you know. And I think it's going to be Vengeance. He just did not look good. And obviously, when he kind of says, when Yami says, hey, when we get back, let's grab a drink, that tells you somebody's not going back. And in this instance, I can't see them kind of killing off Yami. He's a fan favorite. And so I think Vengeance is the one that's going to die. I also think coming out, I'm calling it now, all right, within the next 5 chapters or so, we're either going to see the Asta get a power up to his Devil Union, or we're going to see him find a way to extend the duration. I think he's not really getting ready. I think he's back up on his feet, but I think they're going to find some kind of way to heal him. And while he's been healed, they got to kind of find a way to distract Lucifero. Obviously, at this point, Lucifero doesn't care about anybody but Asta. He did make a comment about Yami being a dark user, and he was kind of like, yo, I'm going to keep an eye on this guy, but I'm going to take care of you later. For now, I got to give it to this idiot. And so you see him throw that punch at Asta. You see him knock Yami out of the way, just like, hey, I'm going to save you later, and then he comes back for Asta again. And when he comes back for Asta again, we finally get the return of Nero, who I, for one, was like, yo, is this person even still in the manga? You know, sometimes when you have these mangas like this, the creators have so many characters to keep track of that it does happen from time to time where they forget to write some story for one of the characters. And a good example of this is My Hero Academia not too long ago, where the author had to apologize because he kept forgetting to write this character in. So it's good to see Nero come back, and then it's also good to see Zora come back as well. You know, the two combine to use the trap magic. Zora has the trap magic and Nero has the sealing magic, and they kind of try to set Lucifero up and just basically like, hey, I just need 30 seconds, which I don't think they're going to get. Obviously Lucifero has been flicking people left and right, so I don't see that. Even though they're using some kind of trap, I don't think that it's strong enough to work against this guy, and they're actually going to make a difference. But overall, it was a good chapter. I think some great things are coming, and really, I hope everybody gets on board with this. I think with some of the most popular mangas getting ready to end, people will kind of shift over to Black Clover, and if so, you know, you guys and myself, we can say we were really on board with this thing way before everybody else got on board. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. That's going to do it for me today. Post in the comments what you think. You know, I'm a big old nerd. I love to talk this stuff up. I love speaking with like-minded people and just kind of getting everybody else's take on things. Just because I make videos doesn't mean I always know what the hell I'm talking about, and it doesn't mean I'm the authority on this stuff. I'm just a guy with an opinion just like you guys. So if you guys hop in the comment section and you want to talk about this, I will respond to every message. I don't care if it's 1 to 100,000. I will respond to every message, because I think if people take the time to write me, I need to at least take the time to respond. And so, yeah. Other than that, guys, that's going to do it. As always, I'm your boy, Heroes Come Back to do great, be great. I'll catch you in the next video, all right? Peace.